strategy, skill, RNG. These mechanics are ever so present in any great RPG. Overcoming challenging situation and coming out victorious is what makes it that satisfying. Challenge runs are exactly that, but it's on a more heightened level. Most likely you're gonna need more strategy, skill, and better yet, even more RNG on this type of runs to come out victorious, but the trade-off satisfaction is much sweeter. What if it's a modded challenge run? Will it be as satisfying as the vanilla game? Can chickens beat Baldur's Gate 3? We're gonna try that out for this series, and we're starting off with the rules. So number 1, only solo, no party members. Number 2, no illicit powers. And finally for number 3, is we are only allowed to use chickens, but I'll cut some slack for myself and allow neutral NPCs to join the battle if I have the chance to do so. We're also allowed to use defensive spells such as defensive buffs, heals, or any CC for as long as they don't deal any damage. So this is gonna be our first modded challenge run. Enjoy! We're gonna start our journey from character creation and pick the best class for the run. I could have just went with any race to be honest, but I wanted to have the chattiest of the chat and the sneakiest character that I could find, so I went with the Drager race. I wanted to utilize that free invisibility spell that we have. Most of the time we'll just be sitting things out and just spam a spell or two, so the race passive would be a perfect fit. As for our starting class, we're gonna be starting with the Hunter and take the Beast Tamer ability that lets us summon our chicken companion as early as possible. Plus, Hunter's Mark spell is a really useful skill to have to increase the damage of our chicken army. All we need is just to name the character and we're off to the races. Right after we pop out of our pod, we're immediately faced with our first challenge of the run. Apparently, the game doesn't let us summon our familiar after doing the pod scene, and I totally forgot about that detail. Lae'zel is the only one that we can have along for this scene, so I decided to make an exception to the rule just this once. I had Lae'zel do all of the heavy lifting and I just stood around while she carried me throughout the fight. Right after dealing with our first set of opponents, I can finally summon our familiar, which is Mozart the chicken. Mozart can lay eggs like any other chicken. Yeah, that's gonna be free food I guess. The best thing about Mozart is that it can summon other regular chickens with just the cost of a bonus action. But the drawback is that all of the chickens are only level 1 and have 1 HP. To add more insult to injury, they only deal 1d3 damage. Now with all that out of the way, let's give Lae'zel a one-way trip to Blighted. While moving through the Nautiloid, I went on to eliminate this helpless cultist trapped in the chair, while simultaneously breaking out Shadowheart from her pod, only to send her to shore through the quickest way possible. This brings us to our escape from the ship. The fight surprisingly went well with the chicken army. I quickly mowed down enemies like their chicken feed. Then I had this really dumb idea. I wanted to take out General Zhaik after seeing what my chickens can do, so I started out encircling Zhaik with my chicken squad. Seeing General Zhaik being bullied by a bunch of chickens just looks unreal, but my plan quickly fell apart once the Mind Flayer died and I'm still quite far from the escape button. I quickly scrambled to reach it before the chickens are all destroyed and somehow survived with just 3 HP. After landing on the beach, I quickly grabbed the artifact from Shadowheart's ghost and started to build my chicken army once again. I decided to get more levels by destroying a few brain creatures along the way. We had a number advantage, so we immediately finished the job. I then grabbed a Asteriad and had a chat with them, giving us the experience to push for level 2. Shortly after that, I crushed the brains of the dying squid, then slapped Gale's hand until he got sucked up in the portal. Having witnessed the amazing power of my chicken army, I then went on to find more enemies to crush. This led me to a group of treasure hunters with my chicken army in tow. I got overconfident. When the battle got initiated, one of the mages used the sleep spell on us and all of my chickens went to sleep.
Actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
I played this game a lot. Never have I seen this many of my units got CC'd in just a single spell. For you guys who don't know, the sleep spell is one of the most useless spell in the game, where it normally isn't that useful because number 1, it is HP based, and normally you get out of it in just an instant. But I forgot the fact that I'm with a bunch of chickens that only have 1 HP and absolutely zero resistances. So I did what's best for the situation and ran away as quickly as I can, leaving all my chickens to die. I then came back and designed a well thought out plan to revenge our fallen comrades, and I called this the chicken trap. I had to position my chickens outside of the ruins and bait the enemies out. One by one, they got lured out and was ambushed by my group of chickens hungry for blood. I had a chat with the guy guarding the door and was immediately surprised when he saw a dwarf with a pack of chickens in tow. We made quick work of the dude like he's nothing. Now for the others, I really need to get clever in this one, so I played like a god. I wanted to try the same tactic as before, so I summoned some chickens and positioned them to each side of the door, while our trusty Mozart is at the back line on standby to summon more forces. Once we're ready, all we need to just open the door and kill them all. We started off as planned and positioned the chickens like a good tactician would. Everything was fine until the rogue came into range. The rogue suddenly threw a fire bottle on my clumped up chickens, then they immediately got burned to death and took out 6 of my chickens then and there. I immediately had second thoughts on how stupid my plan was, and I told myself that I shouldn't have grouped them up like that, so that was my bad. I'm just so bad at this game, bro, to be honest. Luckily, I still have enough chickens to power through, so I had to do my usual encircling tactic and pick them off one by one. After saying that, I immediately run one of my chickens to its burning death by letting it run through a burned surface, so that turn was wasted.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Still, we still had the number advantage, so I just powered through and I eliminated 1. Then it was 2, lured more of them until it was 3. Then the wizard ran in, used burning hands and took out 7 of my chickens. Now I'm down to 5 and I had to finish this fight. I still had Mozart, so I can still summon the chickens. We took out the mage, then rushed in to finish the last rogue. After that whole life and death situation, I went ahead and replenished my chicken army, then journeyed on to the grove. Realized I always needed to get tactical and position myself on the hill. Went through the whole Aradin scene where he selfishly endangered the tiefling. Man, I just hate this dude so much. The battle went surprisingly well. Having the high ground advantage, we swiftly took care of the goblin rangers, then moved to eliminate the bugbear while the others killed the other goblins. I just wish the goblins took out Aradin though, but unfortunately he survived together with his buddies. We then went inside and just watched Aradin punch Zevlor, knocking the dude out. To add more insult to injury, Aradin just ran away. I couldn't take that disrespect for my boy Zevlor, so I had to show Aradin the terror of my chicken army. I then went back to the grove and decided to save Saza so she could get me to the goblin camp, stop the tiefling from putting an arrow between her eyes. I then decided to lead her through the secret entrance, so off we went. Tried to sneak my way and turn off the guardian. Then the battle happened and one of the goblin rangers immediately shot an acid arrow, taking out most of my chickens that are clumped up. I only had 3 chickens remaining, and yes, Mozart was also included in the damage, so I had to run away as quickly as possible. Saza didn't like that, so she turned on me and started to attack.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I had to get out from the other side and try to set up for round 2. Luckily, all of the goblins were now easy to deal with because of the chasing that happened, so we did some really quick work. Unfortunately, Saza is dead, so the point of saving her and letting her lead me inside the camp isn't gonna work anymore. So I just went with plan B and decided to just wing it. While traveling to the Blighted village, I then grabbed the amulet that gives us a free guidance cantrip. This will be really useful later on. Took out the grieving cultist and decided I should take a shot at the owlbear, so off we went. Relying on my overwhelming number advantage and my battle-hardened experience, I had to utilize 2 squads for this one. One squad will be the vanguard, while a couple of us will be in the back line for support. We easily encircled the owlbear mother. We had the strength in numbers. While she was lacking any AoE damage spells, we easily took out this apex predator. Never have I imagined a creature this ferocious will get pecked to death by a bunch of chickens. We left the owlbear cub to do its thing. We then proceed to continue north to the burning building. I left the chicken army outside because bringing along a bunch of chickens to a fire area may not be a really good idea. I stacked up a few boxes and opened the door to help the magistrate and get that sweet XP. Then I decided to go against the gnolls and went full on tactical for this one. Positioned my chickens behind the boulder, split them up to 2 teams, then lured the gnolls in. Surprisingly, my plan worked and we smoothly took care of the gnolls with minimal casualties. That also includes the bloated hyenas, so I was really happy everything went well. We then moved to the paladins and set a trap for them. Lucky for us, they're not that aggressive yet, so I had time to prepare. I positioned the chickens as close as possible so we can benefit from any opportunity attacks. Also, I stationed a couple of chickens at the door so no surprises would happen. Fight broke out when one of the chickens attacked the paladin. Got a few hiccups in and there, like one of the rangers used lighting arrows on my chickens, taking out a couple of them, but Mozart was fine so I can spawn more chickens to power through the fight. We then focused on the sword-wielding paladin first. As strong as the smites can be, it's still no match for a swarm of chickens. Right after that, we moved into the ranger and the others. Soon after, they all fell to my chicken horde. Right after dealing with the paladins, we then went on to challenge Flint and her gang. Positioning my chickens strategically while also securing our escape area was a great idea. Just like the paladins, the gnolls didn't have a chance. Even Flint, a level 5 mini-boss, just got overwhelmed and died. We then grabbed the chest and eliminated the guards because my chickens are hungry for blood. Proceeded to the hideout and met the most formidable opponent my chickens have ever encountered, which is stairs. So I decided to take out the whole area and just wipe them out. I positioned my chickens in a safe spot in order for them to be safe, then surveyed the area using my minor illusion to lure every enemy that I can. Lucky for me, the whole place is technically a bomb, so I just needed to use one chicken to do the deed. I dropped a candle, let the chicken ever so slightly drop it to an oily surface, then all of the enemies died in that instant, including Oscar. Aside from that, mission complete. I then snuck myself into the vault, grabbed this amazing gloves that provides us with resistances to all of my chickens, with just the cost of them going insane. The trade-off is fine because you can turn it off anytime that you want. Now on to the Goblin camp. Slipped through the guards using my lifted wisdom, so the whole point of bringing Saza along didn't matter. Cutscene happened where the artifact saved me. Then I went on and grabbed the boots that provides extra HP when our targets are healed. This is gonna be really useful later on. Then I saved my boy Volo, spiked the Goblin's drink with poison, and went ahead to save Halcyon and eliminate the goblin leaders. I started with Minthara, sent her to the absolute in her spirit form, then went ahead and took out Ragslin. I went with my usual tactic by overwhelming them with my numbers, but I had a backup squad just for standby. Started eliminating goblin warriors first cause they can throw firebombs and mess up my chickens. Moved into the rangers, then into the cleric, while leaving the boss cornered by my chickens. After eliminating the boss's bodyguard, we then focused on bringing it down. Then it happened. At 18 HP, I was convinced that Razglin is about to die in this turn. Then he used a spell that I forgot that he had. He immediately used a lifted power repulsor and took out 90% of my chickens in an instant. I had to scramble and use the invisibility potion and get out. Luckily I survived and prepared for round 2. This time no chances. I had my chickens swarm him and my dwarf use hold person. Finally we managed to take him down. We then proceeded to take out Priestess Glut and I had to get my spider friends involved for this fight. I had a chat with them, opened the gate, lured Priestess Gut to the stairs, and have her massacred in ambush by my chicken squad. I then went ahead and broke out Halcyon for just the sake of it. He helped tank most of the fight while my chickens eliminated the guards. After dealing with the goblins, I've set my eyes on Auntie Ethel. We just casually ran in, went down the stairs, and did something that I would regret for the duration of the fight. I used invisibility to run past the masked guards, then casually used Featherfall to go down to her lair. My whole game plan was to spread as many chickens as I can so I could deal with her clones as quickly as possible. Then after that, we can just overwhelm her with sheer number advantage. But leaving the guards and not dealing with them would bite me in the ass this time. Once the fight started, Ethel summoned her guards, making it much tedious to eliminate her. Fortunately, I had a lot of chickens, so I quickly took out the guards, used hold person on the mage so she can't mess up my squad. Now all that's left is Ethel. Her clones are no match for my chickens and are easily dealt with. My plan somehow worked and we could easily swarm her until she gave up and made the offer. I don't like Mayrina, so I just let Ethel have her, while I grab the hair, having a free ability point while dealing with one of the most annoying characters in the game. It's practically a win-win situation right there. I also tried to reanimate Connor just to see what happens. I then realized that Connor didn't like me, so I had to eliminate him with my chickens. Anyway, we're on to our final challenge, which are the Kresh. They're the most powerful enemies in Act 1 and are really deadly when you fight them conventionally, but we don't do conventional here. All it took was good positioning from my chicken squad, so we tried to set up above the bridge for the high ground advantage. We then swarmed them one by one. Lucky for us, most of their attacks are only good for single target, so a swarm of chickens will be the bane of their existence. As predicted, one by one, they fell prey to our chicken army, and here I thought it would be a challenge. Everything went smoothly, and all that's left is the Spider Queen, the Underdark, and the Monastery for Act 1, and that's gonna be coming up next. And that's it guys, thank you for watching episode 1 of our modded challenge run. Apologies for it taking too long. It really does need some time for me to finish this type of videos, so I very much appreciate it if you guys support the show. Anyway, thank you for all the people who subscribe and keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate you guys for all the amazing support. And for all the people who subscribe yet, thank you for watching my videos, and I hope I earn your subscriptions in the future. But if I earn it today, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Do you guys want to know what are the best mods for episode 23? Check out these videos right here. Finally, that's it for me. Up to you soon on the next Master Box Show. Peace out. Bye guys.